Cinemime.
Hello everyone and welcome to Cinemime. I am Floyd Stapleton and today I will be discussing the film Fallen Leaves, which was released on November 17th, 2023, courtesy of Mubi. It premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 2023 where it won the Prix du Jury. This film was written and directed by Aki Kaurismäki. To be quite honest, this was my introduction to Kaurismäki. I've never seen another film by him, but to my understanding, he is one of those directors that has something of a through line in his filmography. In his case, his narratives center around working class people. I know he has his Proletariat trilogy, and his films tend to be laced with acerbic, deadpan humor. Fallen Leaves certainly delivers this in spades, and if that is the case for the rest of his filmography, I think I definitely need to check out more of his work because I really liked this movie. Granted, I first saw this film last year at the Chicago International Film Festival, and if you know anything about Chicago audiences, they will hoot and holler at the drop of a dime. Not to say this movie isn't funny, it definitely is, but it was like watching a movie with a laugh track, and it was sort of distracting. So I'm glad I got to see this film again at home on Mubi, and I had a much better experience. I could really appreciate the nuance of the story and the humor a lot more. The film takes place in Helsinki and centers around two working class people, Ansa, played by Alma Pöysti, and Holappa, played by Jussi Vatanen. Ansa works at a grocery store and Holappa works as a sandblaster. By chance, one night, they lock eyes at a karaoke bar, and thus begins the story of their romance, which ebbs and flows and hinges on a lot of coincidences. Both Ansa and Holappa are people of few words. They don't talk much, and when they do, they are very direct and to the point. Kaurismäki's script doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue, and it is very pared down to just the bare essentials. It's very minimalist, and it really works with the deadpan humor featured in the film. These characters tend to stick to actions instead of words. For example, when Ansa gets fired from her job at the grocery store and can't pay her electrical bill, we see her open the bill and she immediately unplugs everything in her house. Actions like this speak a lot about her character, and in the case of Holappa, he tends to deal with different emotions and circumstances by drinking. That's his safety blanket in a way, and it leads to him getting fired from several positions. An exchange between him and his friend Huotari is as funny as it is sad, where he says he drinks because he's depressed. Huotari asks him why he's depressed, and Holappa states he's depressed because he drinks. That exchange says so much about him with so few words. And the dark humor intertwines with the characterizations of our protagonists in a really charming way. It would be easy for a film like this to be cynical, and while the protagonist may be cynical, at the very least realistic about the world around them that is largely indifferent to them, Kaurismäki never falls into the trap of making this a cynical film. There's a real charm to the characters and the humor, and you want to see these people succeed and hope that all ends well for them. This is a film that really gives you hope despite the challenges our protagonists face. In a way, the deadpan nature of the film reminds me a lot of Bresson, who is referenced in this film. Fallen Leaves as a film is also very much a celebration of cinema. The protagonists, on their first date, go to a movie theater and we see an assortment of posters outside and in the lobby. Films like Bresson's L'Argent. We also see posters for Godard's Contempt and Pierrot Le Fou. There's also a poster for Visconti's Rocco and His Brothers at a bar Holappa goes to. This film contains a lot of winks to Kaurismäki's cinematic heroes, and it's very inspiring and adds to the charm of the film. The film looks beautiful. Despite the banal and largely uninteresting lives the characters lead, there are so many beautiful shots and colors. The film was shot by Timo Salminen, and his cinematography is simply spectacular. There are beautiful shots of Helsinki. The interior of Ansa's apartment features eye-popping reds and greens. It really highlights the beauty and the mundanity of the protagonists' lives. There's a lot of anachronisms in this film that are quite interesting. The production design of the film feels very vintage. No one has smartphones. Ansa has this old analog radio. It could be the 80s, it could be the 60s, but a calendar on the film shows that we're in 2024, and throughout the film, you hear about the war in Ukraine on the radio. It gives you this feeling that the film is almost suspended in time, and it gives it a sort of fairy tale-like charm to it. And of course, there's a really cute dog in this film, Chaplin, played by Alma, who apparently is Kaurismäki's dog, and she was second place for the Palme d'Or at Cannes in 2023, where of course Messi from Anatomy of a Fall won the top prize. I keep using the word charming during this review, but the film really is just that. The second time watching it, I had a stupid smile on my face throughout because it's just so damn charming. The performances, the characters, the dialogue, The vintage feel of the film, the music, it all creates this really spectacular experience that makes you believe in the power of cinema. Not to sound corny or anything. Overall, Fallen Leaves is a quirky, deadpan romantic comedy that gives you hope in a seemingly cold and indifferent world through the power of romance and cinema. I would give it a 4 out of 5. And that is my review for Fallen Leaves. Bye!